In this video, I'm going to walk you through the materials prep for Lesson 8 of Unit 7.1 from OpenSciEd. Okay, this is a pretty easy lesson to get ready for. There's a few posters and a reading, and so you will first need to make copies or post on your LMS a copy of Dalton's investigation. So students will be reading that. You might want to think of what strategy if they're going to mark up the text in any way. But there is a reading. And there are also a few posters. And so the first class poster that's going to be made requires students to use these particles. They are cutouts. So you're going to, I would say, make a handout per group. So if you have 8 groups, have 8 copies. It will need to be in color so that they can see the difference in their particles. And they're going to cut these out and use them as a manipulative. And so I'm going to scroll down to the bottom because this is all poster stuff that you need. I'd like to scroll down here. I've added this to the teacher prep. I've linked it beneath the video. And so here is what the poster prep would look like before students come in. You could make something that looks like this. And so you'll have the title, What is Happening with Particles when new substances are made. This first column you can pre-make because everyone will have the same thing. You're going to have the yellow representing the citric acid, the green represents the baking soda particles, and the blue represents the water particles. And this is before mixing. It looks like they're mixed together, but this is before anything happens. So you just have these particles just before mixing. They're close together, but nothing's happened yet. And then each group is going to fill in a row. And so this column right here, they're going to put a written description of what they think is going to happen. And then in this column, they're going to show with the manipulatives, their dots that they're handed out, what's going to happen to the particles. Now you will need to have scissors for each group so they can cut the particles in half if they want to. They can cut them in thirds if they want to. I think what I would suggest doing is making strips of butcher paper or poster chart paper, making strips of it so that they can write what their description on it and then just come and tape it up here. That means you could have something that you reuse class to class, use some painter's tape to paint up their ideas. And then on the particles after combining, maybe they tape or glue it onto the strip of poster paper, and then they just come up and tape it here. Another way to do this is on index cards and have this under a dot cam on a smaller poster paper. But you want students to be able to kind of, when they've come to consensus on what they want to put on the poster, you want them to be able to come up and put it on. You could make a digital version of this, but it seems like there might be a little more benefit in letting students actually kind of play with the manipulatives as they talk it through and say, no, I think this is going to happen. Let's move this here and this here. So it's the purpose of the manipulatives. So they're going to each come up. You could provide more than 1 row per group, or they can actually just put 2 ideas on 1 strip of paper and 2 different ideas on the way they think it's going to combine. Anyways, think that through. Those are just some suggestions. You will also need to have your key model ideas poster handy. So go ahead and hang it up, or if you have a picture of it or a document, get it ready to project. You're going to add this last idea on the poster that's listed here. You're going to add that after students have done this. You're going to summarize what students have said and add this key new idea. And it's basically that new substances are produced and made up of the original substance. That's important. We know that from the conservation of mass. And that they must break apart somehow and join to make new products. So we're not quite sure how, but we know we can look at our ideas and know throughout that everybody was saying something along those ideas. It does ask for 1 more poster, and this is adding energy to water investigation. So after you read the article, you're going to brainstorm some ideas how they could replicate this investigation the next time they meet. And so we can add heat, we can add electricity to water to see, can we separate water into its components, which would be The students already know this in 7th grade. Hydrogen and oxygen, can we separate it? And so we're going to go into the electrolysis investigation next. But what we're trying to do is use their ideas to push us there because they're driving the investigation. Now, I will say if you're running low on time, just have them share this out loud. You don't need to document it, but we do want to leverage their ideas to push us to the next lesson. All right, that should be about it. I think the particles and the main things you need copies of, physical copy, and then the reading, it's up to you, LMS or a physical copy. All right, good luck with lesson 8.